My name is Emmanuel Dolo. I will start by introducing myself. I am from the Liberian community here in the state of Washington. Currently, I'm one of the commissioners of the City of Seattle's Immigrant and Refugee Commission, and I'm also the program director at the African Chamber of Commerce. And the African Chamber of Commerce, basically, it has two different goals. The first one is to promote trade between Africa and the United States. They do that by organizing trade fairs, what we call the Africa Business Day Forum. They talk more about importing and exporting from and to Africa, and they work with African governments to promote the AGOA project, which is basically a US act that promotes trade between Africa and the United States. The other thing they do is small business development. So they provide business development support and also technical assistance to small businesses in and around, let's say, the Pacific Northwest. So that is the African Chamber of Commerce. What I do there is to help kind of clarify the direction of all the programs and help support the program offices to achieve their goals and objectives. I work with the president and vice president. And so they have two vice presidents over there. I work with both of them to strengthen the focus of the organization. And that is it about me. I'm not, I mean, in terms of stability, I am successful, but that's it. My success is built around helping people, helping community.
And that is exactly what we are talking about today. This is the theme. It's actually lead your community. And that's why we're lucky to have you. Today, I'm going to read this. Today is all about leading community building, introducing students to community-oriented work or connect them to leadership opportunities outside of the classroom and in their neighborhoods. So Emmanuel, how were you involved with your community while you were in high school? And what impact did the experience have on your career pathway?
Well, actually, the other thing about me, which I didn't talk about, is that I went to high school during the height of the Civil War in my country. And those days, there were a whole lot of violence around and instability around us. So one thing I did when I was in high school was to always encourage other young people to do the right thing. You know, it takes one to influence the other person to do the things that are right. You know, like setting an example for your friend. If you're walking around with one or two friends, you can inspire your friends by doing the right thing. And so when I was in high school, I used to study a lot. I take my time to, you know, take my book with me and study somewhere. I encourage my friends to join me to study our nursing. I used to also play soccer, or part of the community soccer team. you know. And one thing I did those days was to pretty much engage myself into a whole lot of different activities because I wanted to discover my talent as a young person. You know, as young people, there's some inborn talents within you, and the way to discover who you really are is by experimenting with a lot of different things. So yeah, so to answer your question, when I was young, I used to influence my friends by doing a lot of activities, by studying my lesson, by inspiring my friends to be nonviolent.
How inspiring.
Yeah,
And I'm sure you've motivated of other friends too.
yeah. And that's how you become a leader, right? You become a young leader in the midst of your peers when you do what is right to do, when you are always engaged in positive thinking, doing positive things, then you attract positive people. And once you attract people and they trust you, they believe you, they will then begin to follow you as a friend. So yeah, I did a lot of things when I was young, and I like to always talk to young people about these things because I grew up in a very challenging environment. I grew up in an environment where a lot of young people were not able to control themselves, and they got carried away by not too good people. A lot of people advise them they might be good, but I always advise myself to be a good person in the community. So I have a lot of friends, older friends too. I have some older people who were always around me, you know, like encouraging me to do the right thing and also supporting me. Because when you're good, you have people around you who will always be there to support you, to extend their helping hand to you, but also to guide you to always be a good person. Yeah.
Yeah, well, that sounds awesome. That answered my question about what community leadership means to you. And I see the value in community leadership as well. Sounds like a partnership.
Exactly. And community leadership not in a positional sense, but the idea of engaging other members, engaging your peers to do something that is positive and that is impactful for your community. Yeah, like when I was coming up, I I mean my friends and I, you know, we did a lot of things for our community. We did some cleaning in our community. We organized something we called a sanitation program. We went from home to home, from neighborhood to neighborhood, cleaning up the drainages just to make sure, you know, because over there we didn't have good sanitation system. So everything was kind of, especially when we were in the refugee camp, everything was kind of open. All the, you know, all the different facilities we had, everything was not that good. There used to be a lot of debt in the camp, garbage, and all of that. So we as young people, we helped mobilize our friends and we kept the place clean. And because we kept the place clean, some people were healthy. You know, most members of the camp were healthy. But before that time, there used to be a lot of sick people around because they didn't keep their environment clean. They didn't keep their homes clean. You know, they urinated in open places, all of that. But because of that effort and also engaging a lot of people, educating them, we were able to have people getting themselves clean and helping their community. So young people, no matter how young you are, you can do something very big and very positive for yourself and your friends and your community, your parents, your teachers, everybody around you.
Amazing. And who
Yeah.
inspired you to get this far, to take on these challenges and move forward?
Well, you know, this is a very interesting story. So when I was in school, I met a friend. I had other friends, but this particular friend was very, very serious. I mean, like when I say serious, not in terms of the way he looked and something like that, but he was, I mean, he had goals. You know, he wanted to be the best person among us. So this friend, he used to study the whole time. He got his books with him. From there, he'd be singing gospel music. He was there helping other people. His name is Franklin. Franklin used to help other people. He used to do a lot of fun thing too. And I saw that he was happy. And so I started following Frank, and I even took Frank good behavior to another level. You know, so it's good when you have a good friend around you. It's always good to listen to the friend and see what the friend is doing. If you think what he or she is doing is good, follow him, learn from him or her, and do your own too. You know, like take the whole experience to another level.
Recording in progress.
Hello, Sayo. Welcome to the meeting.
Hi.
Hi.
Sayo, just catching you up. We're here with Mr. Emmanuel Dolo of the Liberian community, and he's sharing his experience with leadership and how he got to where he is today. Emmanuel, thank you for sharing about who inspired you. My last question is, how did your community involvement contribute to the skills that you're using today?
I think my community involvement has contributed to where I am today. So I just narrated to you guys that I was in a refugee camp as a young person, and I mobilized other young people, and we started planning our camp and started helping people. And so over time, I started a nonprofit. I started an organization in the camp, and I was just a high school graduate then, but when I started that nonprofit, it attracted a lot of good, highly qualified people from around the world, and being surrounded by people who were like PhD holders, bachelor degree, master's degree. And I was just a high school graduate. Being surrounded by those kind of people, I thought it was important to learn. So learning from people will be my number one point. Wherever you are, however young you are, always learn to listen and learn new things. Learn from people who are around you. Be humble to admit your weaknesses and also to celebrate your strength. So when I was among those people, I humbled myself, even though I was a founder and the head of the organization at the time. I humbled myself and learned from the people around me. The first thing I learned was how to conduct a community meeting, for example. That was long ago. Now, facilitating a community meeting when there are a lot of people, different people, different opinions, you need to be qualified, have the skills to do that. And that skill, that communication skill, the facilitation skill, and all of those things that I learned over a year, program management skills at that level, at the community level, those were the skills that propelled me to reach this far. I can remember I was selected among 16 other young people from around the world to do a presentation. At the time, I was just a high school graduate, but the little things that I learned from the people around me, my friends, and the people who can work with me, and what I learned from my parents, I put all of that together, and I was able to do that presentation. And at the end of the presentation, a lot of people greeted me, and the next thing I saw was they published a book, and guess whose quotation was in there? Everything in that book was about me. So what I learned from the youth level has brought me this far only because I was able to jot down those things and take them, as part of me. So I'd like to encourage young people, regardless of where you landed, how you landed, always keep whatever you learn to be a part of you, and practice make perfect. Every day when you practice what you learn, you will be perfect at it. When you learn one new word today, put that down and make it to be a part of your vocabulary. And the more vocabularies you have, the better you'll be able to express yourself among your peers. And so yes, most of what I learned, I mean, I did my work before I even went to school. I was director before I went to school to get my bachelor degree and master's degree and all of that. So it doesn't matter the level where you are at. All you need to do is whatever you learn today, you keep it and take it to be a very important part of your journey.